Ready? You guys gonna sing, right?
All right, here we
ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
To ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride
in a one-horse open sleigh.
Did you practice all morning for that one?
Heavy metal, baby.
Wow.
Heavy metal Christmas.
Wow.
By IoT Coffee Talk.
Wait, Leonard, how many Christmases in a row is this?
Oh my God.
It's
4.
a few.
4.
Wow.
I wasn't sure if it's 3 or 4.
This is legendary, right? I mean,
well, it is. I mean, do you remember how last year, Santa's sleigh was not able to fly? It was running out of gas, and they needed that Christmas spirit cheer and everything. Yeah. And it was us that got the jets going on the new sleigh.
Jets? No.
Yeah.
That's carbon footprint.
We believed. It's our belief.
All that stuff, and we helped out Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
It was us.
That gigantic elf.
All those people there in Central Park were like looking towards us. They were watching our show, and we saved the day.
That was it.
It's because we believe. We believe in you, Santa.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is, folks.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry New Year.
Saint Nick.
Joyeux Noël.
Lionel, my friend from Cameroon.
The sad thing is there's a lot of people who don't know, probably haven't seen that movie, right? Like our younger audience, our massive younger
Trading Places. Trading Places. Go watch it, kids.
Yeah.
You'll learn about how to do commodities trading.
Exactly. Pork bellies.
Pork bellies, kind of like you would have in a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Orange juice, yeah. I mean,
it comes from Florida because they probably don't know where orange juice comes from.
Right. You would have never.
Barely comes from Florida anymore.
Probably not, actually.
Ouch.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, if you want to corner the market on concentrated orange juice, this is the place to learn. Steve Brummer is going to teach you.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Hey, but before we get started, I want to remind everyone, all of our billions of listeners, that we're coming toward the end of the year, and we have our donation drive going on for Elevate Our Kids. And what is it? We're trying to raise $25,000 for kids K through 12 who are, and we're trying to bridge the digital equity divide for these kids in challenged communities, okay? And so we're asking everyone to make a donation. I don't know how much we've raised thus far, but I think
about between 8,000 and 9,000.
Really? Okay, so yeah, we're not even halfway there, people.
And we're not beating our previous year donation drive yet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And so here's the thing. You can either make a charitable donation before the end of the year, and there's the whole tax thing, whatever state or country you're from, hey, talk to your accountant about that stuff. Cameroon. Yeah. But if you're not into charity, okay, during the giving season, and you're into fashion, check this out.
Merch.
Nice.
I am.
Merch.
Yes. Nice. You can go to and hey, Stephanie, tell our audience where they can go to get this magnificent hoodie.
Just look up VMark Provisions on Etsy and you will find it. You can also go to I think I actually have a landing site on VMark's page as well, but it's pretty easy to find, or just search IoT Coffee Talk, the hashtag, and you'll find the merch.
Yeah.
Mine is
it's that easy.
This also comes with a warning. If you don't start donating now, we're going to turn this whole thing into a telethon like Jerry Lewis.
Oh yeah.
and we're gonna stay on here until New Year's Day.
24/7.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!
nobody
Around the
sleeps.
clock.
Annoy the crap out of the internet. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're
Yeah.
dialing for dollars, folks. So
Actually,
dial
we're
your
gonna-
phone, put your finger in the dial.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So come on, let's do this, folks. I mean, this is for the kids, and it's for a good cause. And for us, hey, there's no shame in charity and trying to do the good thing,
Stephanie, what do those kids get?
We are, well, if we have enough funds, we're actually targeting Lahaina. And the big thing for them is they kind of putting a lot of things on hold, because the big thing that's happening in Hawaii with the disaster is a lot of them don't even have their housing set up. So if you've heard, they're actually starting to look at some of the Airbnbs and leverage and use those for housing for the people that are displaced. But when we get to a point, we're kind of in a holding pattern, but we're in contact with the education department there, and they will let us know when they're ready for us to send laptops, Chromebooks. So our whole goal is devices to the kids in K through 12 to help them have access to education, closing that homework gap. That is the goal.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes me feel so good.
Are these kids going to get M3 MacBook Pros? Is that what we're sending? No.
No, that's
One
out
that
of
they
our
can all
budget.
share.
It sounds like we can afford one of those.
Oh my gosh! Well, hey, Pete, can you show your shirt? It also comes in red.
Yes, red.
Yeah, I mean, look at this beautiful
Nice holiday
gentleman right
red.
here. Yeah, it's
beautiful.
like
Thick,
outrageous.
thick and.
Yeah. And remember, all the proceeds go to, Elevate Our Kids. And just go to www.elevateourkids.org and then make your donation. It's super easy. And God bless Stephanie for doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this charity. And, thank you so much. You're the rock of our group, Stephanie. Look at her.
No way. It doesn't happen without the donations. Now, I do remember I did put in the IoT Coffee Talk link on elevateourkids.org. So if you go there and you go to the donation section, you will find access to, click on that. And you can also, it'll have details on where you can purchase there's t-shirts and the hoodies.
Yeah, this is how I got mine. I ordered mine. Mine is in the mail.
Yeah, see?
Yours is in the mail. I saw that. You know what, Dimitri? When your order came through, I saw that they were out of stock on the actual t-shirt to print it on. So I had to do some finagling to get yours out the door. So hopefully
Thank you. You can
yours will be shipped soon.
She's the chief finagler. She's the Rock. I know you thought it was Dwayne Johnson, the University of Miami was the Rock, but it's not. It's Stephanie Atkinson.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? I love the little arrowhead thing there. Is that James Avery?
Yes, it is James Avery.
Very
Texas
hill country,
Jeweler.
Texas stuff. See, I know about this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm plugged in.
All right.
And by the way, everyone, she's wearing Christmas green. That's not black. I thought it was black initially.
Oh, it is green.
Right? Yeah, it is green.
And you're going, and this is over Starlink. Is this right, Stephanie?
Yes, this is over Starlink. No, not this one.
Good.
But we did purchase a Starlink for our West Texas ranch.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of the things that Chris asked for Christmas, they have these. And I'm like, can you not make this? But they have these Starlink cases where all of your equipment fits nicely into this foam with the cutouts and all of that. But I'm like, really? We can't make this ourselves? No, he wanted it, so that's what he got.
Wow. Is it like a unboxing for an Apple product or something when you get that?
Well, kind of. Well, and you got your three pieces, right? And there's actually different levels. We have the basic version, but this particular case has got a hard case on the outside, and then it has all the little slots to put your equipment, because if it's essentially for people that want to pick it up and move it somewhere else. So RV owners, people that are traveling, or people that are out on ranches that want to use it for other places. I love
that.
The Pelican case, hardened box that you can carry.
Yeah, I love that. Well, speaking of West Texas ranches, Elon's big competitor and buddy, Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin fired off a rocket out there in Van Horn, Texas. What, yesterday or the day before?
Crazy,
It's
right?
been a while. It's been a while since we've seen a Blue
Yeah.
Origin rocket go up and come down again.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
they've been
and usually
tweaking some
when-
stuff.
Usually when my husband's out there, they see it. So
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
they're not really aware of the timing, but they'll just be out in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden they see it. So
Yeah. I
kinda
highly
crazy.
recommend you go stay in the lovely town of Van Horn, Texas. There's like one hotel that's worth staying at, and you'll probably see a bunch of Blue Origin people who flew down from Kent, Washington to hang out in West Texas.
there's nothing there. Yeah.
And then wasn't there news what's the name of the Amazon, the AWS satellite thing?
Kuiper.
Kuiper. There was some news about that, I thought, yesterday or something.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
it was.
I think they have some.
Elon got the contract to send their birds up.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because
All
And
right.
they've sent up a couple of satellites, kind of protos or whatever,
Oh.
too. Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah, right
Well-
before reInvent, and then and they're going to be using, ironically, Jesus, what is the name of it? What's
SpaceX.
Elon Musk?
SpaceX.
Yeah, they're going to use SpaceX to
SpaceX.
launch probably a good.
Lots of
majority.
brotherly love there
no,
between Jeff and
Yeah,
Elon.
brotherly love tax. Yeah,
well,
I'm sure.
this
Yeah.
way, it's less expensive for them to use SpaceX than it is themselves.
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
My husband's quite intrigued with Jeff Bezos' wife. Is it? He's married, right?
Are they married yet, Sanchez?
Intrigued is the word.
Very, very intrigued. I'm like, he's always showing me pictures, and I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm like, what is his deal with?
Well, they had that photo shoot on Vanity Fair. I don't know if anyone saw that. That
Yeah.
was
Maybe
insane.
that's why it's all
It was
over
insane.
the place.
And so he's hanging out down near Steve these days, right? He moved to Miami?
Yeah, he's got
He
a
did,
place.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
yacht has been going up and down the East Coast, so everybody's out there looking.
He is a walking midlife crisis, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. No, he is. But thank God he
Like,
can
he's
afford
that-
it better than we did.
Well, when money,
Think about everything that could happen midlife crisis. Bezos he's crushing it.
well,
They love-
when money is not the problem anymore, what do you do?
Yeah.
But don't you love it? How, clickbait articles, news articles, because they're just trying to invent content every day. And it's like, oh, he's having to leave Washington State because the taxes are so high. And he's moving to Florida. He's leaving Hunts Point. Not that any of y'all know where that is, but yeah, like he's worried about taxes.
No,
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's probably more worried about sunshine.
He bought the homes on either side of him in Miami because his property wasn't big enough on the
That's
water.
what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what Bill G did originally when he built his place way back when in Medina. It's like, I'm buying your house and get the heck away from me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I need to create some kind of exclusion zone in Lake Washington if I can.
That's right.
Zuckerberg did the same in Palo Alto, I think. So
Yeah.
it's common practice.
He bought the 1950s, bungalow house on either side of him that were both going for 10 million each in Palo Alto, right? And it's like, whatever.
crazy.
That's cheap for Palo Alto.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Makes
oh
you
my
wonder.
gosh.
But I can tell you that the Starlink launches are all the time. I mean, I just watched one the other night at 11 o'clock. The nighttime launches are incredible. I mean,
So you can see it pretty good from where you live?
yeah, we're going
Oh, wow.
392 steps over to the beach and watch it with my binoculars. And the first stage return to the drone ship is right out there. Even though it's a pretty far distance, you can see it on a clear night like the other night. So it's just
That's cool.
and if you guys ever want to go to the Cape and see it, just tell me and we'll go up there and get passes and go. Those guys are great. They're just a great bunch of they're fun people. And I don't go to the base anymore, to the Kennedy Space Center anymore because you can't party. But there's a great causeway that I backed up the truck to and sit on the back and party and watch it go up and down.
Oh, okay. Well, this
I
is
love
He likes
that.
to have a beverage while he's watching.
You know what? If you're gonna go up in space, you might as well join them.
yeah.
I feel like I don't know, a couple of summers ago, my wife and I were out there, went to Kennedy. That's such a great experience. If you haven't been there or take your kids, to Kennedy Space Center, it's mind-boggling. It's such a great education too.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's a teacher, and she was like getting all this information that she could teach her kids, because that whole Kennedy Space Center is just like big education mouthpiece for what we've done in space. And so, I highly recommend it. I remember when I think of something going up and partying there, I'm like being on the beach in Titusville or something. Pete, you know how we always did a lot of those tech ed Microsoft events in Orlando. I remember we did a bunch in a row, like in 08, 09, whatever. And I remember as soon as tech ed was over, me and a couple of buddies from work just drove straight to Titusville and stood there on the beach as one of the space shuttles was going up, and people are like totally hammered, and it's like USA.
Didn't Supercom used to also be in Florida way back when?
Supercom. Hey kids, have you heard of Supercom?
Oh my God.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, yep.
Well, you know what? You know what's really incredible is what NASA. I mean, a lot of folks like to trash on NASA for the overspending or going over budget on a lot of the projects that they, a lot of their projects, Artemis and what have you. But what I find amazing is that, even when you look at the Apollo program, they never had any of their rockets really blow up. You know what I'm saying? I actually think about that from an engineering and project management perspective and quality perspective, where Elon Musk is blowing up rockets trying to figure out how to make these things fly. NASA basically contained a lot of, and they had targeted testing, and they didn't blow up an entire assembly, right? And the Artemis launch. I mean, think about the first Artemis launch. It was successful. I thought it was going to blow up. Quite honestly, I would have.
Yeah, these days we're used to it just blowing up.
Yeah.
Dimitri, would you say, like, from a software development perspective, the Apollo program was waterfall, and what Elon does is agile, iterative? Kind of.
I would say it was smart waterfall, actually, and I think I commented on this show already. If you dig down a little bit in the history of the Apollo guidance computer, the design of that thing is there's a great YouTube. I don't remember the name of the guy. It's called if you Google in YouTube, Light Years Ahead. The guy actually explained the design principle of the Apollo guidance computer, and you look at that today and say, shit, why don't we do that for everything? The focus on resilience was extremely high. Fairness, I do believe that there was a big accident on the ground pre-Apollo.
Apollo 1.
Apollo 1,
fire.
Yeah, fire. So
all those guys died inside the capsule in a test.
And I think that helped in creating this culture of we're not going to let any stone unturned now. We're going to look at every single bolt and nut and check it for quality and think about everything. So there was a culture of engineering excellence that
in the cloud, you can fail fast in the cloud, but in real life, fail fast is
exactly. So there's a lot of argument with all the agile process. I mean, I do understand some of the objectives, but the thing that I'm always very skeptical about, especially the protocol MVP, which I usually
move fast and break things. Doesn't really work too well.
Which I interpreted as maximum vulnerability potential. So as a hack, I love MVPs, but we've definitely, and I'm sure the right. The right positioning should probably in the middle, because it was probably a little too over-engineered. But definitely, hey, nobody's gone back to the moon since.
Yeah,
that you're right. There's the agile, there's the waterfall, there's the I think of like Y Combinator. Their whole deal is getting those kids to just start shipping right away. Ship it, get that MVP out there. Can you imagine signing up for that first trip to Mars on Starship, and they're like, well, you're going to ride on the MVP of Starship?
Oh my God.
Well, I think I already said on this show as well, I have a list of people I want to convince to do that.
Relatives?
Hey, Marc, where's your TO?
None of you is on that list.
TO. Where's your TO?
The TO is at home.
Oh,
He's
really?
at home. Yes, of course.
Hey, are your kids excited about beating it up?
Absolutely.
Making presents?
Are your kids excited about Santa?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. We're using the fear of not getting presents to get them to behave.
Discipline.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Santa's watching.
Actually, I have to explain here that we went to meet Santa last Sunday in the mountains.
Uh-huh.
So there is an activity. You get a message, so you get invited. So if you don't receive the invitation, you cannot meet Santa.
Oh,
And magically, Santa knows how children behaved, good things and bad things. So when you meet exclusively a private meeting with Santa for 5 minutes, Santa knows exactly everything.
Really?
And tells the exact messaging to children. It's amazing.
Is he using
Wow.
GPT? Is he using ChatGPT? GPT-4?
So is this kind of like an exclusive Santa, for maybe a different caste system or something like
20
that?
children. Yeah.
System.
Well, there's the blue bubble Santa, and then there's the green bubble Santa.
What's that?
Some people
What's that?
know what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah. Well, my kids aren't young anymore. Not like you young 20-something young families like Stephanie and Leonard with little kids running around. You guys just graduated from college just a year or two ago, and you're just you're starting your young families and everything. And so the rest of us are a bunch of old timers, so gosh. What are you gonna do?
I have teenagers.
Woo!
Wait till you get grandkids and you have to do it all over again.
Yeah,
Now, see, my twin has a 30-year-old, so I'm always like, I could have a 30-year-old, and she's a grandmother, so I'm like, I could be a grandmother. It's crazy.
La 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 la.
We had our third grandkid Friday, and then we had a handle other grandkids over the weekend while we were in the hospital, and we had to do. Does anybody know what Buddy the Elf is?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my wife and I had to do Buddy the Elf for 3 days.
Oh,
Talk about experiencing
funny.
that kind of wrath.
You got a plan for that, Steve.
Behave themselves. If Buddy sends a note overnight and says you were misbehaving yesterday, you will not get these s'mores or whatever the dangling is. That works for under 5-year-olds for sure.
Right.
Awesome.
Buddy the Elf. I modeled my whole life after Buddy. I tell you, the toughest part for me was when I arrived in New York and found out my dad was James Caan, and I was just like, "Woo!"
What?
The more I think about it, Christmas is the season of parental blackmail.
Oh no,
Yes.
shit!
Seriously.
I'm listening to your stories. I'm an analyst, so I have to analyze what you guys are talking about.
Well, I hope these kids don't follow Elon Musk, because we know how he reacts to blackmailing. So.
Yeah, I know. Well,
You're trying to blackmail me with money?
You have to have
Advertising?
you money to do
Or
what.
food, or just a cake.
Well, my issue right now is with my 16-year-old. He's a senior. He cracked his iPhone, and so he can't take selfies because it's cracked right over the on the front camera.
Tragic.
And I'm like, well, you have insurance. I could get it fixed for you, or I could upgrade you, but I want to get it fixed first. And he's like, why? I'm like, because it's either a $350 trade-in value or an $850 trade-in value if it's fixed. I'm like, dude, you have insurance. Get it fixed, and then we can upgrade you. No, I can't be without my phone for a day. And I'm like,
oh no.
do you want to take your selfies? Like, figure it out. So
I understand.
It's so stupid.
I understand where he's coming from, because it's like you're not part of the planet Earth all of a sudden. If you don't have your phone, if you can't take selfies, it's like you don't even exist.
Right? Snapchat is non-existent right now.
It's he is that tree falling in the woods, and nobody knows that it happened.
There's an iPhone 5 that I have in my drawer. Just you can use this.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Leonard, you remember when we did an iPhone episode many years ago, like when the 13 came out, when they went back to the metal band around there, and we were blasting it. It's like, oh, the iPhone 4 is returned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, they went away from the cool, sleek, slender user metal to back to the little band where you say you're holding it wrong.
Yeah,
wrong.
And then
You're covering the antenna.
the funny thing is, everyone criticizes it, and then the next year they're just basically copying them. It's pretty funny.
Titanium
And then everyone's
steel now.
holding it wrong, right? So,
Yes, all those little secret, Galaxy news reporters are out there going, I think the next Galaxy Ultra is going to be titanium because they have to copy Apple every year. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Good times. What's going on in tech? What else is going on? So we know there's some satellites up there. We got some rocket ships. Is there anything cool going on in tech?
hey, look, Stephanie, I have mine.
You have your Galaxy?
It's the Galaxy S. What is it? S23 Ultra. Yeah.
Look
With
how
your-
many
oh
My
cameras.
gosh, that's too
With
much.
your
Wow.
Yeah.
200 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's more.
Oh, wow.
There's more cameras than buttons.
Yes. Everyone asks me all the time. They're like, what kind of phone is that?
Ridiculous.
Well, and I put the magnet on the back because I mount it in my car that way.
Yeah.
It makes it easy, safer for me. But I still have the 8, and my kids have the latest iPhones. So go figure.
Wow. The 8 was the last iPhone of that design.
Look, I got a button.
If you could take off that case, we could see the slender design of that 8, which started with the 6, where they totally redesigned the iPhone and everything, and then it lasted through the 8, and then we went right back to metal band. You're holding it wrong. Look
Little regression. That's all
little
right.
regression. Maybe made it through the 12 or the 11. I don't know.
It's like the Porsche designs. They went back and forth with the old original to more progressive motifs. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I am going to be at CES, so I will see if there's any new cool devices. And last year I attended virtually. It's just not the same, but
no.
I like to walk the floor and see what's going on. And I love the automotive section.
Yeah.
And then of course the devices. I'm not as interested in there's a whole section of all accessories and everything that you want for your phone. I don't visit that one, but
Shenzhen manufacturing company one
super
through-
busy, super busy area. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
I
we'll
was
see.
planning to go to CES.
Would you go look for the metaverse for us, because we were trying?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Pointed out
I'll
that
find it
time, we
and bring
couldn't
it back.
find
That is in the central hall in
Yeah.
So I'll see you there. Who else is going to CES? Oh, okay. So we should have dinner.
We
Yeah, we should.
definitely need to have a dinner.
Yeah.
and I'll be hanging out at the IMC has got the IoT pavilion in the North Hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have three clients with booths there, and they have a reception Tuesday night, Wednesday night, something like that. If anybody's interested in attending, I can get you passes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it'll be
Send our way.
it'll be Wednesday afternoon at 4:30 at the IMC IoT Pavilion on the North Hall.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
Steve, you should probably tell all our IoT listeners what the heck the IMC is, because I know a lot of people have never heard of them, even though I think they kind of set some standards or run the show around IoT, but maybe not really.
I mean, the exclusive group that belong to the IMC. It's an organization that is catered toward suppliers and vendors in the space. It's almost like a giant marketplace for them. So everybody connects to each other to be able to sell their wares through other people. They've done a very good job at CES of dominating the booth scenario. They had to expand their market area
Oh, wow.
twice this year because so many people in the IoT space wanted a booth in that specific area. If you remember what used to be at the West Gate, that's what you started at.
Right.
Yeah.
The North Hall. Expanded
I know
out.
people are really missing the Westgate, and seeing like the ghost of Elvis walking around the Westgate,
And sitting at that crappy Starbucks in the lobby.
But if you're at the Westgate, you might run into Barry Manilow. So there's
Oh my
that,
gosh.
kids.
Live?
Yeah,
Who?
yeah, Barry's alive.
He's been
with a lot of plastic surgery, but he is
Barry's
definitely
alive, and
Yeah.
he's singing all his hits from the 70s, you know.
He had
So
a big
go to the
special
West.
big special on Peacock.
Oh, yeah?
Special, yeah, it was good actually.
Gotta go and check them out.
I love Barry, man. He had some great songs.
Hanging in
Lots
there.
of I'm a fan. I'd go see him at the Westgate.
Are you a fan of Low? Rob,
I'm a fan of Low. I'm a fan of Low. Yeah.
and
you know.
every seat for the entire week at the Sphere is taken. Every seat. One open seat at the Sphere for the week.
Wow. Well, CES. I mean, it's not too surprising. Everything's taken during that week.
Yeah, you know, when I think, Stephanie, you got your phone that you're attaching to the magnet on your car, I was immediately, because I'm a squirrel, taken back to, I was thinking about supply chain problems and you getting a car during COVID and the supply chain stuff, and we talked about the chip shortage, and people got educated that there are chips in cars. And because you couldn't get a particular chip, you did not have heated seats in your new, what was it? Was it a Suburban or what was it?
So I have the heated seats, but I didn't get the air conditioned seats. So yes, and of
Especially in
course
Texas, Rob. You know how important that is.
it's
terrible.
bad. Yeah,
Like,
The end of the world.
that and I did not get the televisions in the back of my headrest for the row 2. They said you can wait on that or get your car now. And I said I'm good. My kids use their devices. They don't need
Yeah.
Wow.
screen.
A lot of suffering
Bring your
going
own
on.
device. It's called bring your own device.
Exactly.
Yeah, BYOD for cars because we ain't got no chips.
But my
Yeah.
The kids are all with earphones anyway. That no one's. I mean, I'm always talking to them and no one's listening. So.
Right. It's all headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to parenthood. You're talking and they're not listening.
Oh, for so many reasons.
There is nothing to do with devices about that.
Mom is such a loser. I wish she was the cool mom.
They do think I'm cool though, because
good.
I school them on tech, and they love that because they're, I know more than they do, and they're always shocked by that. And I know more about the apps and stuff that they're using, and they're always shocked that I actually know what they're on and what they're not supposed to be on, essentially.
So you're the cool mom.
Pretty much.
So that's kind of like if y'all remember the movie Mean Girls, Amy Poehler played the cool mom.
Saturday Night Live.
Tina Fey.
I love Tina Fey.
Well, they're actually putting on a road show, the two of them.
Oh, good for them.
They got, I think I saw that they're in one of the theaters in Manhattan. They're starting their tour.
Good for them.
They're
Maybe
good.
Tina Fey should go back to 30 Rock and help with them some writing over at SNL.
Yeah, good luck with that.
SNL is pathetic right now.
Oh my God. That whole they just keep on falling all over themselves.
They do. It's like the only kind of halfway good material is just watching like Weekend Update,
It
Yep.
was. That big one's coming up on Friday for their annual joke program that those guys do. So
there you go.
But I will say, circling back to CES, if anybody out there in IoT Coffee Talk land want to walk around the IoT Pavilion area at CES in the North Fall, just reach out to me and I will gladly take you on a tour. I know probably 3/4 of the people at the booths there, so I'd be happy to do our own tour. You don't have to go through CES and spend money to go on the walking tour. Just come over, get a hold of me, and I'll be there all days, and we can walk around.
I would
That's
love
really
to
nice.
I would love to have either a scooter or a golf cart while in the North Hall.
Wow.
Oh, you can look like a perfectly able human being like you see at Disney World, Disneyland, on a
Coming to the
cart.
front of the line. And then all of a sudden, getting up and walking.
How did they do it?
I think this
Oh my
is a
God.
miracle.
I just got on the Indiana Jones ride. Somehow I can walk. It's a miracle. It's like Eddie Murphy. All of a sudden they pull him up and I can walk. Oh my God.
Magic Disney, guys. It's
Yeah.
magic.
It's Disney magic.
So is there going to be like an AI PC pavilion at CES this year? I mean, what's
I bet you there's going to be some AI PCs announced. at CES.
Thank God that Pete brought us back to reality here with some
There you
breaking
go.
news. Let's talk about AI PC stuff that we learned about from Intel. What is the deal with those guys? That was news this last week, right?
They're
What is it?
tenacious. They're tenacious in their promotion of AI PC. I mean, the fact that PCs have been running AI and been running like editing tools and stuff for like years on Windows ML seems to have escaped people's reality. And so I certainly see that they will announce AI PCs, and they'll be basically last year's PCs with a new sticker on them that says
Exactly. I was
AI
at
PC.
I was at that Qualcomm event a few months ago, and that's what they were talking about, how we're about to see a slew of devices that, from a marketing perspective, that are going to be called the AI smartphone, the AI PC, the AI laptop.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I mean, it just
but
down to
Pat over at Intel had to return fire, and so what do they got? The new Core Ultra? Is that a new
Core
chip?
Ultra.
What's going on? What's the deal with that chip? It's supposed to be AI enabled or something? Accelerator?
has some
AI
machine
is
learning.
with an MPU, and
Yeah.
and, you know, it's basically fabricated on the latest Intel process, which is Intel 4, which is equivalent to you can argue it's equivalent to 7 nanometer for TSMC, and then it's also
I think that's most of the
chiplet
news, though.
architecture. Tile
Yeah,
architecture.
the new, I think the more of the news of the Ultra is the architecture and the process than, finally putting an NPU in there, which Qualcomm has had for years, is not really news.
Yeah.
But the fact that Intel was able to meet their kind of fabrication and manufacturing goals with that process felt like a bigger story to me.
The MPU is a big deal for them.
Can somebody tell us what
dedicated
MPU
one.
stands for?
Neural processing unit. So it basically efficiently handles quote unquote ML workloads.
Yeah.
And then the interesting thing is they located it on the SoC tile. So they have 5 tiles or chiplets that individual dies that they have on the processor package. And that's all the energy efficient part of the architecture. It actually is really interesting design, but it's all focused on energy efficiency. In terms of performance, about 8% overall improvement over Raptor Lake.
But I think we touched on that a little bit last week, but it's still a general purpose computer running Linux or Windows or whatever crap.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
And that's the question I was asking. Why don't we go? Because I think to me the real question, because if I think of AI PC, out of the context, I would think, maybe I don't need, as I said, a Turing-capable machine. I need a machine that is very specialized with a very specialized hardware to run some AI load, and that I could buy. But if it's another Linux running box that's 8% faster because the new architecture, what's the point? So I think that's one area we should think about is how we can, and if you connect that to the earlier discussion we had on Apollo, one of the reasons why we could make actually the Apollo guidance computer so reliable and sophisticated, because it was purpose built. It was built to do one thing, get that freaking thing to the moon. It wasn't built to run ML workload or generic, Docker containers. So specializing the hardware for the use case could not only get more efficiencies, but also, I believe, more resilience and security. So,
and that's what
if we see that at CS, bravo. But if it's not just, as you said, rebadged thing with AI PC instead of Intel, the stickers stuck on top of the others.
It's AI everywhere for as many people as possible. So it's
Leonard, is there an IoT use case?
Oh yeah, so I spoke to Sachin Kati, who is the general manager. He runs the whole Next group, which is the edge and networking business group at Intel. And he's pretty excited about taking Core Ultra and applying it in, let's say, quote unquote, IoT scenarios like retail. They talk about retail a lot. And so being able to bring that low power consumption, AI capability, to compute capability to, let's say, the retail edge or the maybe in some industrial edges, they're really excited about that.
Well, they used to have Intel NUCs.
Really talk about.
Yeah, they used to have Intel NUCs that had a SKU where they had an NVIDIA coprocessor on there, and now they can have an integrated. So I think think of it as like TOPS per watt per dollar is kind of the metric there. Like it's like how much horsepower can I get based on how much power I can consume and how much I have to spend. That's kind of that's where they're playing in that space. And so it's always interesting I haven't seen an all-up comparison between, AMD Ryzen and Intel Core Ultra and Qualcomm, X whatever, to see like what's the TOPS per watt per dollar ratio there, who's winning. I would think Qualcomm is probably have an edge there because I know they're at like 45 TOPS blah blah blah, which they have more TOPS, but the question is how much does that cost? Like you're not going to take like a high-end Qualcomm Snapdragon chip or the latest thing, or maybe even Core Ultra, and put it in kind of something where you need a couple of $100 box, somewhere in quick serve retail to do like point of sale stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it's all, the TOPS per watt per dollar thing is all driving down. The question is for a PC platform, a regular platform, that 99% of the time you're running Chrome or you're running the Office, whatever. Yeah. Like, how does that impact the fact that you can also run these kind of math-intensive workloads? And how does that really affect folks? And what's going to be run in the cloud versus locally, which is a whole other discussion. Yeah.
And it looks like, from what I've seen, Qualcomm, Intel, MediaLink, they're all set for keynotes. I'm sure there are others. So I'm wondering if, I think that there's going to be a huge, huge discussion around AI. They're all going to have their talking points. And, we'll see what they say at CES, because ideally they're geared towards a lot of the consumer devices at CES and automotive, but we'll see, and that's always the hard part, I think, for a lot of us on IoT Coffee Talk, is we're definitely more interested in the enterprise and industrial space and the IoT, the commercial markets. And it does, of course, like Steve said, there are a lot of IoT companies that go there, but it's so consumer oriented in terms of the notes and discussions.
But a lot of these devices are used in the enterprise as well, right? So
corporate PC
plays into the whole consumerization of IT friggin' thing that everyone used to talk about. And so it has bearing, because there's this huge thesis out there that generative AI is going to create a hockey stick of productivity improvement. And I don't know if you guys saw, but the EU,
a hockey stick is something.
Yeah.
Hey,
hockey stick of layoffs.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because it may not be the case, right? There may be new jobs to vet and manage AI. Yeah.
Prompt engineer.
Agents.
Prompt engineer. Yeah.
What is it? There are companies now popping up testing and evaluating the efficacy of these, privately developed LLMs, even ones that are plugged into public LLMs.
RAG tuning.
And it's like the results are horrible. And the EU has been doing evaluations, and they're finding out that it's actually not even close to being suitable for commercial use.
Right.
So
news. Let's take this. Can we take this back to France, please?
Why?
And talk about Mistral AI. Did we talk about them last week?
Mistral AI?
Mistral. No, if you're living in the south of France and they're in the wintertime, it gets kind of windy and kind of weather there, and it's not, living in Luberon, it's not what you thought it was going to be. But there's a startup called Mistral AI, and it's a French company. And they did a Series A round of like over $400 million, which is the most unheard of thing of all time. And it's open source, kind of maybe private-ish, AI LLMs. And the only way you can do it right now, I think they just have a REST API to work with it. That just blew me away. That there would be a Series A of that kind of money. And apparently 6 months ago when they launched with a seed round of like $115 million. Jeez. That's bonkers.
Yeah. Well, they have a great executive
How are they
team.
going to make that money back? How are they going to pay their
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
But nobody cares. People love things they don't understand.
At some particular point, someone's going to have to care.
No, they will. But that's the point. That's separate from knowing how you're going to make your money back. Nobody knows that. But you have investors who are dumping a ton of money in this stuff. And a
because
lot
of the FOMO, they don't want to be missing a boat.
Narratives.
They have to have it in their portfolio. So
and again, how many FOMOs have we lived through? I mean, is this just another
the nature of the beast? There'll be tons more.
Generative AI.
Big FOMO work for you. That's what I say. Big FOMO work for you.
It's about one every 10 years, right?
No, one every year.
A FOMO?
No, I mean,
Metaverse, crypto, mining.
But I'm trying to imagine the leadership team at Mistral pitching VCs and saying our TAM is the whole planet, and everyone's going to pay us $20 a month for API access to our open source LLMs. And they're like, here, take our money.
Had a good pitch.
So
they are the Harlem Globetrotters of pitch. Of pitches.
It's the dog food model.
Yeah.
Count the number of dogs, count the number of cans, and this is your target.
Are you sure you didn't mean dog shit model?
It's even bigger model. Imagine how much litter you need. Well, it's more for cats, but
Piles high.
So just to remind everyone, we live in something we call the hype machine.
Oh, yeah.
And hype and marketing drives all of this stuff because it all might be a total BS. Just like the AI
I'm
PC.
sure that people will buy their AI PCs, they'll have a sticker on them, and they'll be internally almost identical to the machine they had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they'll still run Adobe on it, and Adobe will run, their local kind of workloads on instead of NVIDIA, it'll be on the Core Ultra. It'll be exactly the same.
Yeah. Wow.
The AI stuff still sells really well to PEs and VCs and everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
VCs.
If you don't have that in your pitch, you ain't getting money.
Yes, I'm an advisor at Silverwood Partners, and I don't do a lot with them, but I get their weekly reports, and there's one for health, one for tech, and about 80% of the movement going on with all their announcements is AI. They're investing. There's money out there going right into it.
Yeah. We saw Leonard's good friend Jerry Paradise on the LinkedIn machine talking about new ThinkPads with AI, the AI PC empowered ThinkPads for 2024.
That was as hell, man. That was a good.
Come get your X1 Carbon with AI infused.
Jerry's awesome.
AI infused.
I'll see him at
still awesome.
What'll be interesting though is like with if these PCs that have more TOPS on board, and you can run the code locally instead of in the cloud, like for these ISVs, does that mean their costs for running these things, because they don't have to pay the hyperscaler, goes down?
Maybe so.
Is it more cost effective to run it on the local chip than in the cloud? Is there an economic play? If I'm ISV, am I motivated now to run more workloads locally because so my cloud bill is less? I don't know. We'll see.
Wait a second. I'm having a flashback to the 80s here. Wait. I think Rod Canyon's going to put a Desk Pro on every desktop, and you're going to run Lotus 1, 2, 3 locally instead of hitting the IBM mainframe to do all that. Whoa!
And then it will be hybrid. So and then again cloud, and then again.
At the end, we have to.
It's a loop. It's a loop.
It's just
a boomerang.
It's a hamster. How do you call a hamster wheel?
That's us. We're all on a hamster wheel of hype.
Yeah, one of the things I'd love to see at CES is like if I want to do like real AI processing, maybe like an external box, like with a USB-C connector, I can connect to my laptop that is just running like some NVIDIA chips in it, and it's just like that's like I can do my Topaz stuff in like 5 minutes instead of like 2 hours. Like I could see that like an outboard,
that exists, right?
That's a Coral.
That's a Coral. That's the OpenVINO, right? So these already exist, right?
Yeah. But remember, we're hype machine experts here, so make sure that external box has all the lights and stuff on it. If you make it look like the flux capacitor,
with an antenna.
Yeah, if it looks like a flux capacitor and it does a lot of stuff, and in fact, if we can put a prototype together, and have it for CES, let's get a booth. I guarantee we'll sell the hell out of it.
You get Series A out of that.
I'm sorry, Rob. It's already been done. DEF CON last year, there was if you know what is an SAO, which is a shitty add-on for badges, electronic badges, I have an SAO with a flux capacitor, so it's already done.
Garbage in, garbage out.
It was at the car hacking village. It was actually pretty fun. But
the external graphics processor box, which already exists, can just be rebranded as the external AI box.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You can add AI
you
to
can
your
patent that.
computer.
You can patent that.
package them into a skull, like it's like a brain.
Yeah.
A brain, yes.
I say we got like a week or two to get our act together and get some prototype out the door.
Well, we can use Gen AI to render it for sure, and
Boom. Yep.
It's a talking
Pete,
Rob. A talking Rob head.
You have to run it on the box we are launching.
You have to sell a box.
To render.
Gotta be a box.
It's a IoT
Grace
Coffee
Hopper
Talk
powered
ideation
brain
session.
thing that you plug in with USB-C and
Grace Hopper powered
But
brain
actually,
USB.
Back to the subject. What would be interesting is because what I'm not clear at all is what are actually the workload that you want to run on the AI PC. And how realistic it is, because at the end of the day, people seems to forget that this whole thing only works with data. So, and where are you going to find the data?
Yeah, it's all content creation apps, as far as I could tell. It's all video editing, upscaling, photo stuff. I mean, it's the typical.
Yeah, a lot of that.
So it's running models, it's not training models. So you just. So you just need a little more GPU and kind of stuff like that.
It's inferencing. Yeah.
Except for
it's inferencing.
But there's also, I mean, if you look at what Apple released with iOS 17.2, they have an application called Journal. Check that out.
Actually, never tried yet.
That is a really, really interesting app. Yeah. And what it does is it learns off of all the content on your phone, or obviously you can, basically provide permissions for what kind of data it has access to. But I mean, your health, your fitness information, your contacts, and your call, whatever, your photos. I mean, pretty much everything. Your documents. I mean, and then what it does is it will learn about you. And your lifestyle, what you do, and then it will do kind of like an event-based, it's like an event-based marketing type of thing where it will prompt you and suggest a collection of content that you can write about or you might want to write about.
Interesting.
That's a real digital twin. Because something that is observing you, your background, like your brother on the side, knows you intimately and asks you questions.
Yeah, but it's only on the iPhone. They didn't put it on the Mac. They could easily put it on the Mac, but the thing is your iPhone, sadly for the PC guys, is the most personal, like they say, is the most personal device. It knows more about you than a PC ever will, right?
But it doesn't have live tiles.
I know. Oh my God.
Is that the back?
Now, serious question, Leonard and Pete, because you mentioned about the energy consumption or energy savings of these new devices from Intel. Why is this relevant? Because these devices are always plugged into.
No, battery life is still important.
Yeah.
No, battery life is
important. But on what type of devices? You mean on a laptop, for example, or
laptop?
So you expect you expect that on laptops or okay.
Hey man, don't forget about the planet. Come on, you're using less energy.
No. I was thinking more on edge devices, like kind of Intel NUCs in the edge, where these type of devices don't have a battery. They are always plugged, right?
But even though they're plugged, I mean, you would say the total cost of ownership, even in a commercial environment, if you can lower that by 10 or 20% of your electricity bill. Electricity bill, like for telcos, for example, is about 10% of their cost these days. It's a huge cost. So for every industry, I could say quick serve restaurants, industrial, what's the percentage of their cost that is just electricity? And it's probably going higher and higher. And how do they want?
Yeah, but electricity coming from computers. But what,
no, I mean, anything.
That percentage, what's the percentage coming from computers?
Yeah, well, it depends. Yeah, but I think anything that can affect basically that gives them more margin as they can lower their electric bill instead of laying people off, maybe they can just have lower power devices, or do both: lay people off and have lower power devices.
Yeah, make a ton of money.
That's what we teach in MBAs, man. That's what we
There you go. Double whammy.
Oh my god. Oh.
No, it's if you want to change the world, you have to change what we teach in MBAs. That's what we have to do.
There it is.
There you
But
go.
at the end, what we're going to see is if you want to use the NPU, no, we are going to see like when you update the software, the operating system of your laptop, that it says, please, no, plug your machine before, updating the operating system. No?
Well,
So they
yeah.
will,
We're,
That's a good
we're going to
practice.
require that for our USB-C external, Grace Hopper
Right,
brain
the Grace
thing.
Hopper brain box.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the deal. Yeah, we'll have special device
gotta
drivers.
plug it in. Gotta plug it in.
Yeah, I think it's best to just plug it in. I'm
I think those
excited.
Grace Hopper chips, by the way, are like what? They're like, how many, it's like 160 watts, or is it more than that? I mean, it's incredible amount of electricity, like power that one Grace Hopper GPU cluster uses. It's more than that. I mean, maybe like a kilowatt.
They are super not sustainable, and none of them. I mean, it's crazy. Some of the workstations that come loaded with these H100s, it's like,
Oh yeah,
you have to retrofit. You have to have like your own grid, like power.
yeah. You need a special breaker in your box. It's like a level 2 charger level kind of circuit to run these things.
Yes,
I
insane.
love
But
it.
look at the positive side. Look at the positive side. You don't need a space heater.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's an
Actually,
IoT.
speaking of that,
It's an IoT device for space heating.
there's a company called HEATA, HEATA, in the UK. Look them up. They were on the BBC this week. They have a program they're running where they're installing distributed computing in people's homes next to their water heaters.
Yeah.
And they're actually providing free hot water if you have one of these boxes that attaches to your water heater. So they're using the heat from the box to heat the water.
Yeah, I saw somewhere a guy running a spa, and he has a Bitcoin mining thing in his basement to heat the water.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so they're harvesting heat harvesting.
And you can put AI power into your spa advertising. It's cool.
There you go.
Wow. So we're saying that Bitcoin mining and AI factories are a net positive for society because they create.
Net positive might be pushing it, but if it's generating heat, you might as well use that heat, right?
Might as well use it.
It's like Deep Green is another one. They were on my podcast. Deep Green in the UK is doing heat harvesting through kind of liquid-based cooling of edge data centers, and then getting a heat exchanger off the liquid, and then powering swimming pools. They're actually powering public swimming pools in the UK off of the data center heat.
That's the true circular economy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
Wow. People are so smart, man.
Well, Rob,
Never
you were at the spa recently, if I remember your video over the weekend. So
Yes.
you should be very interested into this spa heating technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a spa expert.
Yeah, whatever that means, Wow. I don't know. It's all exciting.
Yeah.
This has been great, y'all. I'm looking
much
forward
stuff.
to us selling our new Grace Hopper external thing at CS. We're going to make so
Brainbox.
much money. Our TAM is huge. Our SAM is huge. Our SOM is huge. It's going to be great. VCs are going to just be like, can I just get you a check right now?
So long as our CA's is huge, everything.
Actually, a great idea.
Take the money and run.
Take the money and run. That's what it is.
What everyone else does. Hey, I think we got to close out, guys. This is, I don't know. Are we going to do one tomorrow? Or next week?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, why not?
So we got
not?
Okay. So
Let's do
this is not the last IoT Coffee Talk of the year. Yeah, so we'll torture you guys one more time before 2023 is out. So
we go from eggnog to champagne in 1 week. There you go.
Yeah.
And did you guys know that we're on Audible? IoT Coffee Talk is on Audible. I got some alert on my Audible because
Maybe
I was searching
Buzzsprout.
IoT. And
Maybe
all
it's
the
sending it to Audible.
episodes, even the latest ones were on there. I'm like,
wow.
I think they're
Audible.
pulling them directly from YouTube. And they've
Breaking
got
them
the
from
full
YouTube.
script and everything.
Really? That's
What?
frightening.
You did the script conversion?
What?
No.
my God.
Like whatever Leonard
Are we
types
getting
up as
money?
the description is showing up.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
ChatGPT
we
is
getting
being
paid?
trained with our scripts.
We should get money, man.
Yeah.
Well, they saw our video where it was like money for nothing, and so they thought they could just take it for free.
Well, we were talking about making an AI computing box, so yeah, money for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. Like how we go to all these different events and in person, have these in person interactions. Everyone knows about the show, so I think there's like people or entities on the web that basically steal our impressions. I think.
All right, I'm gonna look for it. Hang on.
Crazy. Yeah.
Well, are we doing a live version at CES this year?
Yeah, we should. We should actually plan that.
Yeah.
That's
See,
Audible.
IoT
Nice.
goes on Audible.
Nice.
There we are.
Legit.
And it even has the most recent episode, so it's up
incredible.
to date.
Oh my God.
And the first
Somebody-
one, even the first one.
Oh,
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't go back.
Somebody check our IoT Coffee Talk bank account to see how many millions of dollars are in there from people listening while they're driving to work or whatever.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, free podcast on Audible.
Joke aside, it would be interesting to see how many people are listening. That would be interesting.
Well, we need to just bug the crap out of them to make donations to elevate our
Exactly.
kids. And
That's a good idea.
I think that's how we have to end it. But
This is
anyway,
great.
Yeah.
We are on Audible. We are famous.
we're freaking.
Yeah, we went too rich with Clubhouse. So yeah, anything that comes after that, it's
toilet
We
house.
remember the Clubhouse days,
We
don't we?
tried.
You remember?
We tried.
Yep. We tried.
Yeah. This is our longest episode ever, guys, and that's great. This is a great conversation. I have no idea what we talked about because we're.
Well, you'll figure it out somehow when you write it up.
Come on, we talked
All
about
over the
AI.
place.
Oh
All
my
over.
God! But hey,
AI
everyone.
for nothing and the AI PC for free.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the text. This is what I write when I put our stuff on Buzzsprout for podcasts to be distributed to all the deals, and so they're probably that's where they're getting it from is
Okay.
Buzzsprout.
Buzzsprout, yeah, syndicating.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great though. That's great. We're on Audible, everybody.
We're global.
Woo, we're big time.
We're nationwide.
Okay, since I can't take us out, who wants to take us out for our fourth people Christmas special?
Foreigner 4.
Foreigner 4. Yes, who wants to take us out?
Stephanie does.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
Stephanie.
that's
We
Well-
vote for Tiffany.
Yes. So we talked about CES. We talked about AI PCs. We talked about Gen AI. I think we've talked about Gen AI for like the last 20 episodes. I don't know. It's
yeah.
been very consistent. But more than anything, we have got what 10 days left, 11 days left for the end of the year donation drive for elevateourkids.org. Please hop on over there to elevateourkids.org. Donate. And there's also a link to purchase the hoodies. Show your hoodies, guys, and your T-shirts. And we will see you in a week. So we have one more episode for the end of the year. Check us out at iotcoffeetalk.com.
Woohoo!
Happy New Year. Merry New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, give me a break.
I love
Love
it.
it.